702.
702. Right of reply.
So we are joined now by the Deputy Higher Education and Training Minister, Buti, Manamela, who heard that interview and wanted to respond. So firstly, thank you for your time and good morning to you.
Thank you, Bongani, and good morning to you and to listeners.
You would have heard Professor Gumede yesterday. He also wrote a piece at the weekend in which he called Setas patronage institutions and sinks for corruption. Clearly, you disagree.
Well, look, I mean, there's a lot of public noise around Setas right now, and probably some of it is justified. But I think much of it is misplaced. And I think what is clear for us is that Setas are not broken, and if there are some brokerage or brokenness, it's not beyond repair. We believe that they are evolving and that we're taking decisive steps to ensure that they serve their original purpose. One of my major concern is some of the misunderstandings that Professor Gumede had around the role of Setas, because we see this as critical national skills. Part of the national skills development architecture. I mean, one of the things that he said was that we collapsed, teacher training, agriculture training, and et cetera, into sector education and training authorities, and TVET colleges into sector education and training authorities, which is absolutely not true. We have the TVET colleges existing, 150 of those were merged into 50 public institutions, and training around teacher education is going on in universities and similarly with nursing education. So we haven't collapsed those. But what's the real situation with regard to Setas? Their role is, to coordinate sector-specific skills program, working with labor, working with business, working with all the sectors within a specific, with all the stakeholders within a specific sector. What we've seen over the years, is that there's been a lot of training that has resulted from this coordination by Setas, in the form of internships, in the form of learnerships, which is their role. They've also, about 10, 15 years ago, Bongani, we've had about 2,000 artisans being trained out of the system. Today, as a result of the efforts both of the Setas and of the department, we're churning out 19,000, artisans into the market with the target set by the NDP, which we will meet, of 30,000, artisans by 2030. And there's collaboration between Setas and TVET colleges. Now, to suggest, that we should shut down this institution merely because there was a protest around one or two of the appointments of sector education and training authority chairpersons who do not represent the entirety of the governance structure of Setas. I think it's extremely misplaced.
Just allow me to come in there. Part of the argument that is often made against the Setas is that their political oversight is often with people, or at least by people, with little industry knowledge or insight into the specific sectors. We've seen accusations of corruptions against a number of them. You may remember the one example of one Seta that's accused of procuring 20,000 exam pads at 214 Rand each. And at today's price, that same exam pad will cost you $14.99 at ShopRite. That kind of thing we've seen too often of.
No, that's not something that we've seen too often. There were allegations, against a specific Seta, and those allegations have or are being investigated. And I don't think that we should use, one Seta. And I know that what that Seta
I've got accusations against a number of them.
Well, I mean, if there are accusations against specific Cetas, let's deal with those specific accusations. What do we do when there are accusations, for instance, against municipalities? Do we say let's close down all municipalities and hand them over to the private sector? No, let's deal with the specific allegations and let's close those down. But also, again, I think to suggest that there's been incompetent political oversight, I think it's an exaggeration. The oversight that is conducted over Cetas are accounting authorities that comes from stakeholders within that particular sector. It's people who are knowledgeable of that particular sector. Let's take, for instance, the food and beverage Seta. We take people who are from the private sector, people who are from labor, people who are from community structures who are active within that particular sector, which is the food and beverage sector. We do not just go take anybody else and say, you're going to be part of the accounting authority. So already the private sector is involved as part of a stakeholder. So we can't just lock up Cetas and say we're handing them over to the private sector solely, for purposes of ensuring that they get. Then it means that we're collapsing the entire system into private sector leadership, whereas we need everyone involved in the governance of Cetas. And so my point is, Bongani, that yes, there have been challenges, and I think that we're not blind to those challenges. But I think to suggest that there must be wholesale closure of Cetas without any substantive evidence provided on whether they
on the
have
broad
been
picture
or have not been.
All right.
Exactly.
I fully accept your explanation, but whilst I have you, I'm going to ask you to weigh in on those board appointments and that so-called panel as mentioned by Minister Nkabane. How involved were you in that process?
No, I think that's the appointment of chairpersons. That's the responsibility of the minister, and I think the minister has been, as and when requested by Parliament, has been responding to those.
Well, she hasn't disclosed all the names, and some of those she has are disputed by the people she names. What's your view on that?
Well, I mean, I think she'll deal with that. She'll deal with that as and when. It is not my role in terms of the appointment of the chairs.
You know I had to ask.
Of course. I knew you were going to ask.
All right. Appreciate your time. Buti Manamela is the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training there, responding to Professor Gumeda's assertions on the Cetas.